You know we be with it, we off in the hood like some wizards. Nobody ever gave us anything. Miss something from nothing, just like magicians. Gotta relearn everything. Just to remember that I was forgetting. Just to remember that we had a vision. Did it all, don't know how I did it. Time to go start season to go and you know those crystal truths. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Start season to go and you know those crystal truths. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we on the mission. Start season to go and you know those crystal truths. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Start season to go and you know those crystal truths. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we on the mission. Off on the mission, you know how it goes. Off in the system, they turn up their nose. They took all the soil, but they didn't know. Through the concrete, you see the roads. Eyes ain't open, don't mean I ain't woke. Ain't got no cash, don't mean that I'm broke.
Hi, Sacred Kingdom community. My name is Sandra Marshall. I'm with Soul Awakening with Sandra. I created Soul Awakening with Sandra because I answered a clarion call to serve others. So I started Star Meditations with Light Language on Instagram. It replays on YouTube and my Spotify, and Marcus sometimes replays it on his platforms as well. I also started Soul Awakening podcast series. It's an esoteric series. We learn information about the universal laws and how you use them in your everyday life. I do Soul Awakening book read on YouTube, replaying on my Spotify. I read a book. When the divine says read a book, I just answer the call. See you around the cosmos. Wow. 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 Let's thank Marcus Christolight for that wonderful production that he put together for me. I just love it. It says exactly who and why and where I answered my call, and whom I'm bringing all those answers to. Every time I ask an embodying question for myself, I share it with you. It doesn't mean that you have to do anything my way. It just means I share one of many infinite possibilities of ways to do what you can do for you. And that is all Ra is saying, is in any of the experiences you have, any of the stories you've been told about yourself, or you've even told about your own self, has infinite possibilities. If one doesn't work for you, Ra wants you to know you can create another experience. You're the creator, seeking itself in all its many forms through you. Every infinite part of you that's calling out, or that's whispering, or that has had knowledge and you thought, ooh, this is it, I've got it. And then all of a sudden you get activated again. Some people might call that triggering, but you get activated again by a situation or a circumstance that says, are you ready? I was called to this moment to activate you. And you get to ask another embodying question. Not necessarily one of victimhood, though you can if you want. But Ross says you get to ask another one. You get to dive, or you get to have the experience of diving as deep as you want to dive into any of your stories. That's all Ra's saying. We're here for experience. Are you ready to dive into the raw experience? I know I'm ready. Are you ready, Marcus?
I know I'm ready, that's for sure. How are you, Sandy?
That's for sure. I'm good. I'm well. I'm happy. I'm not saying that I haven't been going through things, but I chose to focus on those things that made me good and well and happy, and let the other things just kind of flow. Not that I'm avoiding them, but just flowing, seeing where the universe takes me in my next experiment or experience or even story.
Ashe.
Ashe.
So, before we dive into the raw material, I did have a oracle card for us, for the collective, and this will be from the Beyond Lemuria deck. And I just want to pull a general collective card for us, just kind of give us a reminder or an energy to kind of connect with as we go into this space today. And the card is Reclaim Your Energy. Number 42. Reclaiming the Energy. I'll read just a moment of this book for you guys and take what resonates and leave what does not, as always. The divinatory meaning is it encourages you to be aware of where your energy is going. If you are not at optimal energy level, it invites you to consider the core of why this may be. You have the power to own your energy and choose where you direct it. Look at situations that trigger drama and anxiety to reduce energy loss. Detach from environments or people that are not healthy for you. It is up to you to make the shift. Victim mentality is no help. So realize you have the power to transform your life and choose healing and self-empowerment. It's time to kickstart the upward spiral to abundant energy and soul presence. And that is Reclaim Your Energy, number 42. So that is just a oracle collective message for you guys from the Beyond Lemuria deck. And with that, I pass it to Sandy.
So, did you hear that resonate? I did. Did you feel it resonate? I did. Ashe. So here we go. All right. First, the divine wants me to let you know that you really can take what resonates and leave what doesn't. This is a esoteric learning experience to take what's going to grow you and shift you into your next moment of being, capital BEING. You are a being. You are a sovereign being in a human vessel with a conscious, and now, if you're here in this space, aware mind. That means you can tap into all possibilities. You don't have to live like a cookie cutter me. Man, the divine is going in and getting these texture of words. And I got to slow my roll because that one came out really fast. That was a tongue twister. But you're not there it goes again. Cookie cutter. You're unique. The divine wants you to start where you are. If you're coming into the room and this is your first time, don't be afraid to not know something. Open up so you can receive something. Don't be fearful that this is too deep. Engage. That's what the divine is telling me. Engage. Be part of you. Your higher being is checking in, and your egoic being is saying, is it okay? And your higher being is saying, yes, it's okay. Well, give it a little confirmation. Don't just be the fly on the wall. Interact. If you have a question, if we read something, if we say something, and it kind of, you think it's going over your head, ask a question. Or even in the DMs later, ask a question. Even if this is a replay, ask the questions in the comments. Myself or Marcus will get back to you. And through divine message, we'll give you as best an answer we can give you. But it's still going to be you that needs to discern it. Message from the divine. Ashe. So here we go. I am Ra. I greet you in love and in light of the one infinite creator. We communicate now. The questioner says, could you please give me an indication of the condition of the instrument? I am Ra. We are gratified to say that it is as previously stated. Questioner, why do you say that you are gratified to say this? I am Ra. We say this due to a sense of gratitude at the elements which have enabled this instrument to maintain, against great odds, its vital energy at normal vibratory strength. As long as this complex of energy is satisfactory, we may use this instrument without depleting, regardless of the distortions previously mentioned. The questioner says, the instrument has complained of intensive psychic attacks for the past durational period, approximately. Is there a reason for the intensification of this psychic attack? So in the last couple of sessions, this questioner has been talking about her attacks, her psychic attacks, because sometimes she tries to call on Ra when on her own, when it's not set up the proper way to call Ra, then another entity that is nearby tries to intervene. Okay. Ra says, I am Ra. Yes. The questioner says, can you tell me what this reason is, please? Okay. I am Ra. The cause is that which with which you are intimately involved. That is the cause of the intensive seeking for what you may call enlightenment. This seeking upon your part has not abated, but intensified. In the general case, pain, as you call this distortion, and the various exaggerations of this distortion by the psychic attacks, would, after the depletion of physical complex energy, begins the depletion of vital energy. This instrument guards its vital energy due to previous errors upon its part. Its subconscious will, which is naturally strong for the density, has put a ward upon the energy complex. Thus, the Orion visitor strives with more and more intensity to disturb this vital energy. As this group intensifies its dedication to service through enlightenment. So all Ra is saying is, the more you go deep, the more the entity that wants to intervene pushes. The more you seek more knowledge, the more the entity that's trying to prohibit you from seeking more knowledge pushes. The questioner says, I have an extra little question that I want to throw in at the time. Is regressive hypnosis on this individual past birth in this incarnation? Is it to reveal memories of its previous incarnations, a service or a disservice? Wow, he's jumping right in. Everybody's talking about they want to know who they were in past lives, right? Jumping right in. Okay. All right. I am Ra. We scan your query and find you shall apply the answer to your future. This causes us to be concerned with the first distortion. However, the query is also general and contains an opportunity for us to express a certain point. Therefore, we shall speak. So basically, he's saying, Ra, they're saying, we feel that you might use this to your advantage for your future. It's your inquiry, right, to the questioner. But it's still kind of general, so we'll explain it to you. And eventually, I am going to have to turn on one light, so it might get just a little bit brighter in here. Okay. Ra goes on to say, there is an infinite range of possibilities of service/disservice in the situation of time regression hypnosis. As you term this means of aiding memory. It has nothing to do with the hypnosis. It has only to do with the use which the entity so hypnotized makes of the information so gleaned. If the hypnotist desires to serve, and if such a service is performed only upon sincere request, the hypnotist is attempting to be of service. Wow. And the divine says, over to you, Marcus.
So I really
Hold on a second.
really love how I think it's the first time they're talking about hypnosis in depth and going into the practice of hypnosis. So for everybody out there, hypnosis is something I'm familiar with. I practice it myself, and I've also have a few QHHT quantum hypnosis practitioners in the Sacred Kingdom community that we're part of. And basically what hypnosis is you're able to be led into your subconscious, and going into different brainwave states, you're able to access your subconscious more. I'm pretty sure it's delta brainwave or alpha. I think it's delta. But it leads you into your subconscious field. And when you go into your subconscious is like the container for the programming and the patterns that you have. And when you go into it, you're able to then either face, address, clear, heal, or integrate different parts of information or energy that could be in your subconscious. So it's a very powerful technique that people have used to channel different beings, as well as also access different parts of their self to heal. So I'm very fascinated to see what this is about to lead into as we continue further into this hypnosis discussion with Ra. Yeah, it's gonna be very intriguing. And another thing I really like too is how it constantly mentions the the vessel for the channeling, and just how it's important to take care of the hygiene, the energy, and the maintenance of that vessel to keep the channels clear. That's a pretty good key to take away from that as well, especially if you're someone that likes to channel yourself or is someone that practices channeling. There's a lot of good things you can pick up from what Ra kind of delivers to us through these readings. So I'm really grateful for that. But yeah, other than that, I'm ready to continue.
I knew the moment Ra or the questioner mentions hypnosis, it was like, okay, I can feel I can feel the vibration of my co-host going, ooh, we're starting today, So let's keep going. So Ra ends that the hypnotherapist can, if the hypnotherapist has a good intention, as well as the person that's being hypnotized to go into past life regression, as long as they're of the the same kind of a vibrational field, that this is going to be of service, right? They're not doing it for total self. They're doing it for themselves, probably to find out, why they keep doing a certain thing, or how to break a cycle, or if this is going to be helpful to themselves and their partners, or to even gain information to help them teach and help others learn what they're going through by certain patterns that they have, and you can learn to teach with it, just like Marcus said, right? So the questioner says, in the last session, Ra stated that the path back from 6 density negative time space revolves firstly about the higher self's reluctant negative space time. Could you explain the higher self's portion or position with respect to positive and negative time space, and why it is so reluctant to enter negative time space that it is necessary for the mind-body-spirit complex to incarnate into negative space-time to find its path back? I am Ra. In brief, I love how Ra they say that. In brief, you have answered your own query. Please question further for more precise information. So within the question, the questioner answered his own question. The higher being is moving through both polarities, trying to merge back with space time. The divine being came from a version of quantum where space came first. Everything exists. Polarity, negative and positive are all one spatial consciousness. Of course it wants to get back to that. It's seeking to get back to that. But if it has to do time space first, it's gonna do it. It's gonna be reluctant because that's not its first nature. If it's recalling, if your higher being is recalling, it's recalling where it came from the quantum realm of all things that are and are not at the same time, occupying the same space. That's consciousness. Okay? Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. So, the questioner says, why is the higher self reluctant to enter negative time space? I am Ra. The higher self is reluctant to allow its mind-body-spirit complex to enter negative time space for the same basic reason an entity of your societal complex would be reluctant to enter in a prison. So just ask yourself, would you want to be locked up in a cell that's just has 4 basic walls? You can literally walk 3 steps to one side and 3 steps to the other. You have to use a bathroom in front of everybody else on the same floor. You only go out at a certain time and only sleep at a certain time and only this at a certain time. Would you want to do that? That's all Ra is saying. Picture that. So of course you would be reluctant. Why would you want to be in a vortex of time that limits you when you've come from infinite possibilities, limitless? Okay, so then the questioner says, I think I have an erroneous concept of the body-mind-spirit complex that, for instance, I represent here in this density and my higher self. This probability comes from my concept of space and time. I am going to try to unscramble this. The way I see it right now is that I'm existing in two different locations, here and in mid-6 density simultaneously. Is this correct? I am raw. You are existing at all levels simultaneously. It is specifically correct that your higher self is you in mid-6 density and in your way of measuring what you know as time. Your higher self is yourself in your future. I feel Marcus squirming in his seat. One more question from the questioner. Am I correct in assuming that all of mind, body, spirit complexes that exist below levels of mid-6 density have a higher self at the level of mid-6 density? Is this correct? I am raw. That is correct. Over to you, Marcus.
Well, I have an interesting experience to share. And it was kind of like what you were describing just a moment ago. Back in 2017, 8 years ago in my life, I had an experience of being in prison for almost a year, about 11 months. And what you were describing, I had to experience for about 22 to 23 hours of a day for a couple of months straight. And man, being in a cell with one other person for months straight, 22 hours, 23 hours of a day, and not really having much in there. It's literally 2 beds and a toilet and a sink. That was very, very shifting for me. And while I was in there, I actually ended up teaching other inmates meditation. And on top of meditation, I also taught them about breath work and their chakras as well. And it's like 10 different inmates. I would even read scripture to them. And I was bringing a positive influence on them. So I felt really positive about that. And once I got out at the end of 2017, that was when I created Sacred Light in 2018. And then I created a podcast in 19. And I also got Reiki certified and crystal healing certified as well in 2018. So although I went and spent that time in that kind of environment, being in there actually molded me and sharpened me to be able to see that I had a different pathway of gifts to share. Like producing these podcasts, sharing these spaces, and being there to serve these different practices and ways. So it's very fascinating. And as you know, Ra would always tell us throughout these readings, you know, it's always up to our free will on what we do with our experiences. And it's always up to us if, you know, our experiences is our detriment, or if our experiences is what gives us more wisdom and tools and strength to use and share for others as well. So that was just really interesting that was brought up in this reading. With that, it's very fascinating to know that you have so much free will, so much capability to go from a life like that to a life like where I am today. And I gotta say, I'm helping with healing events for veterans. I am helping with all different ages. I'm now doing different festivals for people. And I'm just really grateful to be able to hold these spaces and share the wisdom with people. And we got a whole community as well around us, including Sandy. Sandy's in that community. So if you guys are looking for support, you guys are looking for others that have similar creative minds or intentions, you got myself, you got Sandy, and there's a lot more of us as well. So
Definitely growth and expansion
that's right.
comes
I was
in,
gonna ask you,
it
Sandy,
comes.
have you ever
Hmm?
I was gonna ask you,
Have I?
have you ever experienced hypnosis?
No, I have not. I mean, I can say I have when I go into meditation,
Mm-hmm.
where I just have those pauses. I know that there's some type of meditation or pause that take to the part where all of a sudden I'll just be doing light language. One moment I'm just sitting there listening to my meditational music and deep breathing and feeling the water, because I do meditational baths with just sitting in the water, letting the water speak to me. But actually having a certified hypnotherapist take me back, I think it's never been anything that I wanted to do, because I go directly to my soul to find out what I need to know, but I'm quite sure if I wanted to be interested in a past life, what did I live, or who was I in a past life, I think I'd come to you to find out, definitely, but for me, my divine tells me enough. When I ask, I think I can take myself there, but I think I understand what raw means is when you have a practitioner that honors the God, I don't want to use the word covenant, but the divine is giving me this word covenant. When you have a therapist, a hypnotherapist that honors the covenant between you, your higher self, your ego self, to take it to a place to know more about itself. That's a wonderful honor. And it's a gift, because both the hypnotherapist and the person that's having the past life regression tap into the divine is trying to give me the words, and I need to just stop fighting it. It's to tap into the raw. Can be either spelled R-A or it can be spelled R-A-W, experience of pure consciousness. Because pure consciousness is what's going to take you back and allow you to see what or who or when your soul went through a certain experience. And I certainly understand now, even now after reading this, that what Ross says is to the questioner, why would you think that it would be easy for your higher being to step into negative polarity? Why do you think it would not want that? Even though it knows that it has to experience the negative polarity to expand into what it's trying to learn. If it's recalling where it came from and what powerful energy it has, of course it's going to try to have an aversion to being limited. Of course, if you do something to experience having to go, as this guy was saying, to jail or to prison, the first thing you're going to do is try to say, I didn't do it. You got to prove that I didn't do it, and avoid it. But the ultimate thing is you're going to, what Ra is saying, even if it's avoiding it, it's still going to experience it. In order to grow and expand, in order to know what's unlimited to you, you have to be immersed in some limit to say, I don't like this. It doesn't feel comfortable to me. It's too confining. And I've got a story for you guys. Yesterday, I spent some time with my family. Guess what they did? They surprised me and took me to Disneyland. Haven't been there in a while. So the last ride of the day, I spent all day there. I was so tired, but I had so much fun, right? Was a ride called Soaring. Okay. And they just kept telling me, you're going to love this. You're going to love it. Right. Okay. So I'm standing in line and I'm looking at all the visuals on the wall for this last ride that we're going on. So I finally putting two and two together what soaring was. Soaring. It's about an airplane. And I see this little tiny door that everybody has to walk through. And I'm saying, are they going to, it was like three of us to like a seat or something. And I said, are they going to put us in little makeshift airplanes? Because I'm still working on my claustrophobic, guys. My ego took me to a whole like story before I even went through the door. So I turned to my daughter who was there and I said, is this about riding an airplane? And she said, yes, but don't worry. She says, it's not claustrophobic, Mom. It'll be fine. But I'm still looking at this little tiny door, right? So when I walk through the door, guys, it's a big room, and, they put you in these seats and you got a screen in front. So I'm cool with that, with the screen in front of me. Then there's this thing that comes down over you and I rise up kind of like I'm going to stop. It is not. And my daughter just takes my hand and she says, don't worry, you're going to like it, Mom. And literally it takes you over all of these beautiful places. And I could feel myself as I surrendered to it, not being caught up in ego and imitation, right? And as I moved into the surrender, guys, I enjoyed that so much that my daughter could feel afterwards. She talked to me. She says, I could feel when you let go, when you were okay with it. Right. But we have so many things that limit us in our body, mind, and in our conscious mind. that limit us in our stories, limit us in our experiences, limit us, that our higher being is saying, when do I get to play? Because it knows where it came from. So it's ready to feel when you free yourself somehow, even if it's just for a few hours. And usually that's when you sleep or nap, or when you have a daydream. Have you ever been in your car and you've been driving and all of a sudden you get to your destination and you go, well, how did I get here? Because you went into a daydream scenario. You were being taken care of. You got to your destination okay, but you just can't remember it because your higher being took over. Been there, done that. I just thought I'd share that story because that was I was so into a limited. I had already talked myself into I'm not going to enjoy this because my ego said, "Ooh, we don't like tight spaces." Right? So back to you, Marcus. I thought I'd just share that too.
Back to me, back to you. It is time to unveil the clue.
I think he's. Pardon?
Oh, is this?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay.
Okay. So,
did you have anything else to share as well?
Yeah, I just want to take a moment with everybody here to let you guys know and give you a heads up that I'm going to be hosting a New Year's holistic retreat, and that will be in Western Pennsylvania. It'll be on the 31st of December, New Year's Eve, and then it'll be all the way until the 2nd of January. This retreat will have holistic healing workshops, gong baths, cacao ceremonies. There will also be luxury stays with memory beds, fireplaces in each private room. And then we will also have vegetarian and vegan meals provided as well. So these things are all going to be included in your New Year's retreat ticket. And you guys can check it out. This is a short little preview of what it's going to be like. And then we'll be back.
Step into 2026 with intention and sacred purpose. Join Sacred Light Healing and Wellness for a transformative 3-day New Year's retreat at the historic Apple Butter Inn in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania. From December 31st through January 2nd, immerse yourself in cacao ceremonies, healing gong baths, and conscious manifesting workshops led by renowned practitioners Sadhanam Singh, Jesse Thomas, Katrina Durant, and Empress Dawn Faya. Enjoy live music by Shy Brown and Evan Sturgeon, while nourishing your body with plant-based meals and resting in luxury rooms with fireplaces and memory foam beds. This is your safe space to heal, connect with soul family, and consciously celebrate the new year.
Oh, yeah. So that's going to be my second annual New Year's retreat. Last year was my first. And you guys can check out the QR code right here on the screen in the corner. That QR code will take you directly to our Sacred Kingdom community link page. In that link page, you will be able to access the Sacred Kingdom YouTube channel, Facebook, holistic retreat signups, as well as all of the individual practitioners, podcasters, and independent entrepreneurs that we have in our community, all on one link page for you guys. It's really simple, really cool. You just scroll down the link page and you can just click on each one and it'll take you directly to their site. We have a crystal shop on there. We have organic home hygiene like shampoo and soap and lotion. And we have a lot of good content for you guys. So just reach out. We got a whole entire community internationally for you. And we're continuing to grow and welcome you guys to join the community as well. Back to you.
Join. It's okay. Step out of your comfort zone. Move about. I certainly stepped out of my comfort zone yesterday because my daughter said, before they close the door, Mom, we can go. We waited a whole hour in that line that twisted and turned and the whole thing. And I just looked at her and I said, no. And I sat down, I put on the seatbelt, I did everything. And I love watching how surrender works. I love being a fly on my own internal walls of my higher being, training my ego, training my system, my body system, my whole system to acclimate to something new, to step out of those comfort zones that were binding. Right? That's all Ra is saying here. All Ra is telling the questioner is they liken it to someone being imprisoned behind four walls that are no bigger than the smallest bathroom you've ever seen, where you could take 4 steps in all directions and still land in the middle of the room. That's limitation. As opposed to infinity of being. But our higher beings do this simply so that they can learn. How can they learn unconditional love unless they're dropped in to love with conditions? How can it learn about that vibration? Because eventually, one day, and I learned this today, the divine is always putting me in the right place at the right time, learning about information. The next door to walk through is the, whatever dimension you might call it, the 6th dimension or 7th dimension, whatever you might call it, where you walk into the vibrational moment where polarities, negative polarity and positive polarity, merge back into consciousness, and it's all one. Some have already gotten to that point and they're going, I don't understand. I can't fathom it. What is this? Why do I feel this way? Why do I feel so free? Why am I not worried about things the way other people are worried about them? Why, I know things negatively are happening, but I'm not facing them like I used to. I'm not in embracing them like I used to. Matter of fact, it's as soon as I see it, it flows a different way, because you move into a new growth pattern, a new shift pattern. Doesn't mean you'll always be that way, but when you move into it, you find that the polarities are just being presented to you as thought process, and you get to take one and you get to, gnaw on it just a little bit, like chewing on your favorite chocolate bar or carob bar or whatever your favorite food is. And then when you get enough of it, when you get a feel of it, you put it away. And you'll say, okay, next. And the negative and positive polarity merge as consciousness. And then you find out, I'm just making conscious decisions. I'm just having a moment where I get to play. I'm having a moment where I get to move from, as you know, I call it the playground of the field within third density. But you get to see it a different way. That's all Ra is saying. You get to experience it a different way. But your higher being is experiencing it always as itself. While it's experiencing, it's also recalling that it came from the realm of absolute. Everything is absolute. There is a no thing, and there is the everything. It's all there. All right? So the questioner says, after Ra says, this is correct, the questioner says, would an analogy for this situation be that an individual's higher self is manipulating to some extent, shall I say, the mind-body spirit complex that is its analog to move it through the lower densities for the purpose of gaining experience and finally transferring that experience or amalgamating it into mid-6 density with the higher self. I am Ra. This is correct. No, I am Ra. I'm sorry, I have to tilt my thing. This is incorrect. The higher self does not manipulate its past selves. It protects when possible and guides when asked. But, let's keep turning. Hold on. But the force of free will is paramount. The seemingly contradiction of determinism and free will melt when it is accepted that there is no such thing as true simultaneity. The higher self is the end result of all the development experienced by the mind, body, spirit complex to that point. It's saying the higher being is not manipulating anything. It chose our body. It's allowing itself the body to have free will, like a vehicle, right? You're behind your vehicle, but you press the gas and you press the brake. You put your car into park or drive or neutral or reverse. You give access. It gives access to you, and you decide where you want to go. And when you get there, all your higher being is doing is saying, well, what does your feelings mean? What does your emotions mean? Tell me. That's what I'm here to learn. Tell me why you didn't like when your car crashed. Tell me you didn't like when you had your leg in a cast. Tell me, show me what these feelings mean. It's accessing your information. It's not wielding them. It's not wielding you. It's not telling you what to do or what not to do. You were given a conscious mind for that. And then when your awareness tapped in, that you are awareness, not just that you are aware, you are awareness. You are your higher being aware. What are you aware of? When you say, I am aware that I'm having this thought about it, and then I am aware that it makes me feel this way, then your higher being is saying, well, okay, explain it to me. But your higher being is not in control until you give it control, until you feel that you've merged so much with the divine that you can say, well, let it be. There are points in time where I ask my divine to help me understand. Help me understand what's next for me, because I see it, but I'm not understanding a certain piece of it. Show me what I need to see. And the divine says, okay, you want me to show you? A door will open, or a person will show up, or a book will come to my attention, or I'll find a video, or somebody, like today, man, I had a 2-hour call with a beautiful person who's going to be on my podcast, and we were talking about the quantum. We jumped in to fifth and sixth density. We jumped into knowing about merging the polarities, the upper polarities and the middle polarities and the lower polarities, and it just be energy being what? Being whatever we want it to be. Doesn't mean you don't stop experiencing. It just means now you get to understand it. And then I read this and I go, okay, what a teachable moment, right? Any questions? Over to you, Marcus.
I don't think I have anything.
No. Rob made it self-explanatory, huh?
Yeah.
So I love that. So let's see, what time do I have? Oh, do we have a little more time for one more question?
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. So then the questioner says, then what are we looking at? No, then what we are looking at is a long path of experience through the densities up to the mid sixth density, which is a function of totally free will and results in awareness of the higher self in the mid sixth density. But since time is illusory, and there is a, shall I say, unification of time and space, or of era dictation of what we think as time, then all of this experience that results in the higher self, the cause of evolution through the densities, is existing while the evolution takes place. It is all simultaneous. Is this correct? I am Ra. We refrain from speaking of correctness due to our understanding of the immense difficulty of absorbing the concepts of metaphysical existence. In time/space, which is precisely as much of yourself, and yourself is spelled your and then self, as its space-time, all times are simultaneous, just as in your geography. Just as in your geography, your cities and villages are all functioning, bustling, and alive with entities going about their business at once. So it is in time/space with the self. Perfect scenario. Since the advent or the invention of social media and apps and being able to talk to Marcus in my time frame and in his, do you get it? We're all on the same timeline. Just in, he's experiencing the future. And in us being able to talk like this and present like this, I'm experiencing his future and he's experiencing my past. Even if it's a current past moment, it's actually happening. It's action and energy and motion. That's our higher beings. Our higher beings are experiencing, when it's recalling home, wherever you want to call your home, wherever you say your higher being said it came from, whether it says it comes from, another dimension or another planet or whatnot, it is consciousness or the divine seeking itself in another moment that are crossing each other. The paths are, I don't know how to, quantum energy is entangled with itself continuously. It never stopped moving. It always intersects with another version of itself. That's energy. That's our higher beings. It blows your mind, right? So the questioner says, the higher self existing in, the higher self existing in mid-6 density seems to be at a point where the negative and the positive path of experience merge as one. Is there a reason for this? Now, to me, he's asking the same question, just in a different format. To me. But remember, the questioner is a scientist. He's trying to get exact information. Okay? I am Ra. We have covered this material previously. Don't you love Ra? Ra says, we already talked about that. The questioner says, oh yes, sorry about that. It slipped my mind. Now, if this positive entity is displaced to negative time space, I understand that the higher self is reluctant to enter the negative time space. For some reason, it makes it necessary for the mind-body space complex to incarnate in negative space-time. Why is it necessary for this incarnation in negative time space or negative space-time? I am raw. Firstly, let us remove the concept of reluctance from the equation, and then secondly, address your query more to the point. Each time/space is an analog of a particular sort or vibration of space-time. When a negative time-space is entered by an entity, the next experience will be that of the appropriate space-time. This is normally done by the form-making body of a mind-body-spirit complex, which places the entity in the proper time-space for incarnation. Over to you, Marcus.
Wow. Can you, if you mind, can you read that last part again about being put into time space?
Okay, the last part. When a negative time/space is entered by an entity, the next experience will be that of the appropriate space-time. This is normally done by the form-making body of a mind/body/spirit complex, which places the entity in the proper time/space for incarnation.
Wow. That's so fascinating.
Fascinating.
We're getting into descriptive details of the afterlife, quote unquote.
Quote unquote, yeah.
That's interesting. Wow.
Right. It's our higher beings. I call I used to call my higher being my soul, but I know that there's a part that is within me, energy that's within me that helps translate. So that might be my inner, my inner soul that's helping my higher self. That's, come online and understanding, more of itself. Knowing that when your higher being finally recalls that it came with free will choice, I think the game changes. Because now you have, these particles of self merging as consciousness more and more. You become this vibrational triune entity that's understanding that it is part of time space, and then it is part of space time, that it is part of the space that is all of the consciousness, and it's part of this duality that's filled with time. And it moves in between it, all through it. As it moves all through it, everything that's within it moves all through the higher being, the physical body, and the mental. The more you grow, the more your higher being grows, because the more it's taking in what's form, because it's allowing itself to recall that it came from formless, and this is why it came to maneuver or operate in form. It came from formless to do everything that it wanted to do, that it does in formless in form. It wanted to do it with the body. Can I shift in a body? And it's learning that you can shift. It's learning that you can evolve. It's learning that it doesn't want to do the negative polarity, but it's also learning that it has to do the negative polarity to learn the positive, because that's what it came to learn. If that's what it came to learn. Remember, according to Ra, higher beings can also choose to play in the negative polarity. It can also want to do service to self. It can choose that. Does the body that it inhabits, or if you want to say that it created through free will, is it working on its behalf? No, it might be a total goody two shoes, body, mind, and and it might be having some little conflicts, that every time it goes service to self, the body chooses service to others. Why? Because they kept the fact that free will had to stay in play. Earth consciousness said free will has to stay. Even though I got lowered into the third density, pulled into the third density, let them play, and the rules still apply. That's where these two books, the Raw Experience or the Law of One and the Divine Design, what did it for me to help me understand this whole complexity of experiences, not just the stories that we're telling, because stories are stories, but we're mainly here to experience. And when we realize that the experience is active, you're actively engaged in it. It's not like you're writing you can write your script to play to be your lead in your story or your grand movie or whatnot, but your higher being is going to come online at some time. And it's going to go into your DNA, where it kept its cliff notes on what it wanted to do and what it wanted to see and what it wanted to experience, and it's going to offer it to you through energy exchange. Certain doors are open, certain conversations will be had, certain people will show up, certain triggers will happen. I'm learning to call my triggers, that word trigger. Certain activations will happen. It's time for something to happen, even if it happened in a negative form. What am I to learn from it? What am I going to experience? Just kind of blows my mind that we started deep, man. Raw is not playing. We started deep. We got 6 more minutes for me before 6:30. Do you want one more question?
I think it's a good place to leave off for tonight.
All right. Then I will close this energy exchange with 10845, 10845, 10845. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You know, if you're coming in the replay and there's something that you just don't understand, dare to ask the question. We will respond.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Sandy, for co-hosting another wonderful episode. And thank you to all of you that have tuned in and tapped in with us for this episode. And we appreciate any feedback, comments, and we appreciate all the like, shares, and subscribes that you guys give us as well. Thank you guys for supporting us along this journey. And we'll see you again next Wednesday night for episode 79, Raw Material Law of One. And with that, we close. One love.
Wholeness and balanced love to you and yours.
(2023) Mother Gaia, third dimensional planet, ascending. Thank you from the Sacred Light Broadcast Network and Sacred Light Productions for tapping in and tuning in to all live and replay content, holistic, conscious, for your empowerment. Tap in to the Christ light within. Please like, share, and subscribe. And remember that you are the one that you have been looking for. Enjoy this content. If you would like to collaborate or receive production through myself, Marcus Christolight, direct message or email me at marcustut23@gmail.com to discuss details. Wholeness and balanced love. Ashe.